He says, Guitarmax just posted about lead contamination on cheap Chinese ? Guitars. It says, any guesses as to how common that would be for guitars sold today? So I watched Guitar Max's video of that because obviously I was curious, like all of you. So if you don't know, check out his channel. If you don't know Guitar Max, he's great. So he did a video where he did a kind of like if you saw this thing with the cups, the Stanley cups, people on TikTok and stuff, and they were testing their cups and they're like, there's lead in this and stuff like that. And so he tested some guitars. So ironically, he tested 3 guitars, and the results did not shock me at all one bit, which was one guitar was I think it was a Teisco 60s era guitar, was probably made in Japan. I don't remember him saying, but it probably was made in Japan guitar. So obviously he said that, perfectly said. He said that, during that time frame, when I was a young lad, I played with this, those little green army men? Well, I had a little lead one that was my grandfather's. It was, I thought it was an army man. That's why I played with it. It wasn't an army man. It was like a hunter with a rifle. And the whole thing was lead. I played with that all the time. So that explains a lot of things for me now. But anyways, different times, different world. And then the 2 that failed out of his 70 guitars were the 2 Chibsons, an Ibanez Chibson, which had it in the pickup bobbins, and then a Chibson Les Paul, which had it in the frets. And all I want to say to that is, it's a video. It's like, look, when you make 1,000 videos, some are great, some are bad. Some people get them, some people don't. And there's ones that you really feel proud of. There's a video I've been proud of for so long, and it's just this video I got probably the most raking over the coals. And it was when a friend of mine bought, he thought he was buying a real Mayanez guitar, and he bought it on OfferUp, and the guy told him he was getting divorced and he has to get rid of it by tomorrow because they're coming to inventory the house. I don't think I told this story in the video, because I'll tell you why in a second. So anyways, this guy posts on OfferUp, hey, I got to get rid of all my high-end guitars. I'm getting divorced. My wife's lawyers get here in the morning. They're inventorying the house, all dirt cheap. They got to go. And so my friend was like, oh, wow, what a deal. And he had never played like a high-end guitar like that. And so he went there and he bought the guitar for probably $800. I can't remember. I remember it was a lot for what it was. And when he got it, he was playing it and he was like, wow, this doesn't play that great. And then that turned into, wow, this doesn't look that great. And he asked me to come take a look at it. So he actually brought it to me, and I took a look at it and I said, yeah, this is fake. This is a Chinese knockoff fake guitar. And I said, so you want me to fix it up and set it up? And he said, no. He goes, no, just throw it in the trash. He was upset. And I said, well, let's not throw it in the trash. I mean, it has value. So I said, let me fix it up and I'll take the logos off and I will give it to somebody who wants a guitar, right? Let's just give it away. Why destroy it if we can give it away? And he was like, no, because he was obviously upset because he just got duped out of $800. And he was like, and I don't think he didn't want me to tell the story at the time because I'm sure he's a little embarrassed by it, which he has no reason to be. I mean, I understand, things happen, but especially since he's a really smart guy, it happens to everybody. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody's like, I would never fall for it. Nah, smart people make dumb decisions all the time too. So anyways, what happened was I said, I will burn fake into it. I'll remove the logos and I will burn fake into these guitars. And so that's what I did. And that's the video that everybody made. Like, why did you burn fake into it? You ruined it. You didn't have to go that far. And the whole point was we just didn't want anybody to ever try to repurpose this guitar and put the logos back and change it back into a fraud guitar again. I'm going to call it a fraud guitar now, from now on, because since that slipped out. So all those Chibson guitars, I've always had a hard stance on them. They are the thing that I hate most. You've never heard me complain that Harley Benton copies a Les Paul or that, some company copies this copy. You've never heard me complain about copies. Like I said, I don't really care as long as the consumer is not being taken advantage of. As long as the consumer can identify what they're buying and make an educated or even a barely educated guess, I think there is no issue there. That's why I always say trademarks, and it should be to protect customers more so than companies. It's not about making a company, make it impossible for anyone to make something innovative in the future. It's to make sure that fake companies, fraud can't be committed on consumers. And And Chibson guitars are fraud, not only in what they do, but exactly this, and there's a reason why. And I wish everyone would do it. Reason why Paul Reed Smith Guitars, and I think Reverend now does it too, or they did it as well, put the name of who builds the guitars of their import guitars on their headstock. They do that. If you watch the bonus podcast I did on my other channel with Jack Higginbotham, who runs SE Guitars for PRS, he said it best. We want them to have ownership of these guitars. He says, I want them to have pride. Now, that is his, as a CFO of Paul Reed Smith Guitars, that is the way he's going to put that, and I think that's perfectly put the way he put it. However, I would go a step further and say, I'm going to make them responsible for what they do. That's really what I'm going to say. Like when you get a Paul Reed Smith SE and you know now who built it, when there's a problem like lead in your frets, you're going to, instead of going to PRS, you're going to be able to identify the company who did it. And so when you share ownership like that, I think it's a better way of doing things. And that's why I'm always skeptical of all the companies that, these knockoff companies where they put the fake brands and fake logos on them. And that's why I'm skeptical of import brands that contact me all the time. And as you know, I did RJ Guitars this week. It was that's why I went to to go into detail on whether or not it was actually bone when they said it was. Was it actually the things they said it was? It's a new company. They sell them on Amazon. That's why I do that. So, just for the record, when I heard, I just want to be clear, when I heard that there's a $100 guitar coming on the market with stainless steel frets and bone nuts, I absolutely took it, my first fastest opportunity. I reviewed that guitar. I did a detailed deep dive review and I put it on the internet. I did not get paid a single dime for that. Of course, they sent me the guitar, but so you understand, if anyone lives local and wants it, DM me. I don't want a guitar, $100 guitar. I don't need another guitar around the house. I did it because I just know what they're going to do. They're going to flood us with, these are great, can't believe them videos. And I was like, let's put it on the deep dive. Let's do it now. Before I get 50 emails going, I bought a $100 guitar and it's not what they said. So I tested it. It was what they said. So good for them. It had some issues, but it was still what they promised. And this all ties in back to Guitarmax. And I thought that was a great way of him testing frets and testing things. And obviously, you can buy those test kits, I think, on Amazon and test your own guitars if you're concerned about it. If you enjoyed this podcast clip, you can watch the entire episode by clicking the link in the description or streaming it on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. You can also join it live every week, Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and I hope to see you there. Until next time, know your gear.